Now on CoastTV News.
Deadly weekend ends with arrest. The man accused of opening fire on state leaders and their spouses has been captured after a massive manhunt. Clouds take over the skies. What kept the Ocean City Air Show from taking off? Route rerouted. Millsboro Road closes for bypass work. We'll show you the detours drivers need to know.
A cool and damp start to the week for Delmarva, then summer heat and humidity later in the week with storms. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 6 o'clock hour. It is June 16th. I had to double check the calendar this morning. Hard to believe we're halfway through June. And we're halfway through June with some weekends that haven't been the best for the beach time, but we're actually not technically in summer yet, Bob, so we should not get worried. There's still a lot of summer, a lot of beach days to go.
There are, but boy, we've had a bad streak of bad weekends, Elisa. This is about the third weekend this last weekend where it was really dreary. I think we'll break that streak this weekend, though, the first weekend of summer. We're looking at clouds, dreary conditions out there this morning, sprinkles from Milford to Ellendale and Lewis, and then we're looking at fog from Salisbury to Ocean Pines and Newark. Some of that fog is dense, and we're looking at clouds and some fog along the eastern shore, but right now it's just some scattered showers across Virginia into D.C., back through Delaware as well. Looks like heavier rain offshore right now. We have a stationary front to our south, and every once in a while, low pressure rippling along this front keeps us unsettled. We have an easterly flow, so it's just kind of contributing to the raw conditions. 1.5 miles in fog in Salisbury right now, 3/4 of a mile in Ocean City. That's where we're seeing the fog, is into areas of Maryland, the eastern shore, and much of Delaware. Not seeing that fog, just cloudy and drizzly. Temperatures out the door, low to mid 60s and a raw easterly breeze right now. So futurecast, slowly rising temperatures through the 60s. Every once in a while, some rain, some drizzle. That's about it. And then temperatures only near 70 as we go into the afternoon. Maybe a little break from the rain, but we're going to have that raw wind keeping you in the mid to upper 60s at the coast. Mowing forecast, not too good today. Improves a little bit Tuesday through Thursday with fair conditions, but still showers and storms every once in a while and getting pretty warm to hot middle to end of the week. Much more on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. In our top story this half hour, the suspect in the Minnesota lawmaker shootings is now in custody. 57-year-old Vance Bolter was captured Sunday night. Authorities say they located him in a field. Bolter is accused of fatally shooting State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, as well as severely injuring State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in a second shooting early Saturday morning.
The first step in a case like this is that we take him into custody, and then the work will continue and begin to make sure that we have all the evidence we need to ensure that he is held accountable for his crimes.
And the capture follows a massive 2-day manhunt across Minnesota by multiple law enforcement agencies. And we are now taking a live look outside of Washington, D.C. as political unrest continues across the country. The president is in Canada for the G7 summit. The gathering puts the president in the international spotlight, but will be shadowed by political tensions at home and escalating abroad. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how world leaders will face a full plate of both foreign and domestic issues.
President Trump turning to the world stage today in Canada at the Group of 7 summit of top allies, amid mounting concerns over a new round of attacks between Israel and Iran. President Trump hoping for a deal to de-escalate.
Sometimes they have to fight it out, but we're going to see what happens. I think there's a good chance there'll be a deal.
While promising to keep supporting Israel's defense.
American pilots are shooting down drones that are headed towards Israel.
Iran has threatened to strike American military targets if the U.S. continues that assistance to Israel. Lawmakers sounding off.
The United States has troops, facilities, and civilians in the region. Do not attack them. That is our red line. If you go there, all bets are off.
Many defending Israel's goal of destroying Iran's ability to make a nuclear weapon, while still calling to prioritize diplomacy.
Bring the two sides together, as well as protecting U.S. personnel.
U.S. embassy offices in Israel are closed today. That, as a U.S. official tells NBC News, President Trump rejected a recent proposal from Israel to assassinate Iran's supreme leader. The growing conflict expected to be a central topic among the G7 allies gathering in Canada, while here at home, boiling domestic divisions on display at weekend protests across the country against Trump administration policies, timed to counter the military parade in Washington marking the Army's 250th anniversary that coincided with the president's 79th birthday. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
No Kings protests spread across the country and right here on Delmarva over the weekend. There were protests in Dover, Rehoboth Beach, Georgetown, Cambridge, Easton, and in Salisbury, which you can see in this video right here outside of City Park. Plenty of people gathered on the street Saturday to make their voices heard against the Trump administration. Now to a story we've closely been following here at Coast TV. The Delaware General Assembly is not scheduled to meet today. However, Thursday was another day in the legislative session that District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby was absent. Parker Selby, who represents 23,000 voters in the Milton area, has missed every single House vote this year. That's at least 118 votes. Politicians have confirmed that Parker Selby had a stroke, and with just a few days left in this year's General Assembly, the Speaker of the House cannot remove Parker Selby and declines to call for her resignation. The legislation will continue on Tuesday. Happening today in Millsboro, a major road closure is set to begin through mid-August, weather permitting. This is related to the Millsboro Bypass project. On your screen right now is Hollyville Road between Washington Street Extension and Route 24. The closure is a part of the North Millsboro Bypass project as crews work to realign Hollyville Road to its new configuration. It will reopen when the bypass opens, and detours are in place for drivers heading in both directions. Also happening today in Georgetown, DelDOT's Coastal Corridors Monitoring Committee is set to discuss updates related to the study. The agenda includes updates on the Transportation Operations Management Plan and an upcoming monitoring effort. People can head to DelDOT's South District building at 4 p.m. to attend. Moving to Rehoboth Beach, lanes on Holland Glade Road between Sandalwood Drive and Hebron Road will close today through July 16th. Crews will be installing new curbs, sidewalks, and pedestrian connections. New this morning, communication relating to canals in South Bethany. The Canal Water Quality Committee meeting will gather today. Topics on the agenda include algae harvesting, canal cleaning, rain gardens, and new water treatment options to help improve conditions in the town's waterways. That meeting will take place this morning at 10 o'clock. Happening today in Lewis, updates relating to the 4th Street Preserve. According to the agenda for the Parks and Recreation Committee, officials will hear a presentation and could take action. Part of the preserve's presentation includes discussion about removing invasive plants that pose a danger to native plants. The meeting comes after the city officials say the $8 million fundraising goal to purchase 4th Street Preserve was reached months ahead of the deadline. The committee will meet tonight at 5 o'clock. Ocean City officials are already putting out notices for closures that will happen on Wednesday as the Maryland State Firefighters Parade rolls through downtown Ocean City at 1:30 on Wednesday. You can expect road closures, parking restrictions, and heavy pedestrian traffic throughout the day. Baltimore Avenue will close to northbound traffic from 14th to 30th Street. And with staging starting in the inlet lot at 11 a.m., parking bans will begin at 8:30 in key downtown areas. If you are not attending the parade and want to avoid delays, you can use Philadelphia Avenue or St. Louis Avenue. In Ocean City, everyone was set up and ready to watch some aircrafts hit the skies, but the fog was too low for the show, and after checking the weather from the ground and in the sky, the Ocean City Air Show broke the bad news after hours of waiting. Mother Nature had put a stop to the show. Coast TV had a chance to speak with Commanding Officer Flight Leader Adam Bryan from the Blue Angels before the show. He was especially looking forward to flying above the town.
As a young college student, I remember coming out here to Ocean City, and my wife's family is from the Maryland area, so we have some ties back here.
Although the weather fell short, people we talked to at the event said they still had a great time and are already planning their trip for next year's air show, but of course, they're hoping for better weather. And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, Pony Swim Prep will tell you what you need to know for the event set to begin in about a month. And milestone parade amid political pressures, we'll show you how government leaders celebrated a military anniversary as people across the country pushed for political change. And 23andMe may be saved from bankruptcy, what a new acquisition means for customer privacy. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
6:12 on this dreary Monday morning. Our Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam and Laurel telling the story. Now, this is up on a tower at elevation a few hundred feet, but it's clouds and drizzle there. 2 miles in fog in Salisbury, only a quarter mile in Ocean City. So in these areas, drive with caution this morning. Take it slow. Everybody should, because we have wet roads and puddles, some very light rain into northern Sussex County around Milton right now. But for the rest of us, it's clouds and drizzle and fog. Just really dreary out there. As you can see how the showers are scattered all across the area. Won't be raining all day, but a front to the south will keep us dreary pretty much all day. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s, so not so good on the golf course today. I guess if you really die hard, you'll get out there, but make sure you have your water and rain gear. Cloudy and cool with areas of drizzle and light rain and a temperature around 70 degrees.
On your screen right now is where Delaware State Police say a murder took place. This is at the 24,000 block of Rivers Edge Road in Millsboro. Delaware State Police say Marcus Harris shot and killed a 19-year-old man and wounded 2 others outside a home on Rivers Edge Drive around 2 a.m. on Saturday. Investigators say the violence followed an argument between the victim and a woman at the residence who knew both Harris and the man involved. Harris was arrested at the scene and is now facing first-degree murder and attempted murder charges. He's being held on a $480,000 cash bond. The nonprofit 23andMe and co-founder and former CEO has won a bid to acquire the genetic testing company. TTAM Research Institute will buy 23andMe for $305 million. This follows the company's bankruptcy filing back in March. 23andMe has collected genetic data through saliva samples from 15 million customers, but bankruptcy sparked concern about data privacy. TTAM said it will comply with 23andMe's privacy policies and honor existing customer data policy rights. CNN has learned hackers tried to break into the email accounts of some Washington Post journalists. A memo to Post employees that CNN obtained explains the newspaper discovered the targeted hack last Thursday. The paper then reset the login credentials for all of its employees. The Post is investigating and says only a limited number of journalists' accounts were breached.
A dreary tunnel and Razor, Cam and Lewis. Got a low overcast. Boy, the sailboats are probably going to be staying on the beach today. A damp and cool start to the week for Delmarva. Grab the umbrella this morning and have it handy. And then we have a big warm-up. We flipped the script midweek with temperatures in the 90s later in the week with showers and storms. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:17 and we are taking a live look outside at Lewis this morning. And Bob, as we can see on that camera, there is no beautiful sunrise. There is no sun at all.
Nope.
Very dreary. I know you usually go for a large cup of coffee. Today is another good day to have a large warm cup of coffee, that's for sure.
I think so. I would go extra large. That's usually my go-to, Elisa, right? Yeah, with a little bit of cream, but you know, you need that warm beverage this morning. It is cool, it's damp, it's raw out there. That's going to continue through today into Tuesday. Maybe an isolated downpour, but just kind of drizzly, light rain. Not a great day with an onshore flow. But then we flip the script midweek with a pattern change. We're going to be welcoming back the 90s, if you'd like the 90s. And we're going to be seeing humidity as well, and with that, some afternoon storms. Some of those could be strong to severe as we go into Thursday. But right now, it's clouds, drizzle, and some very light rain near Milton and up into the Milford area. Elsewhere, it's just cloudy and drizzly and foggy from Salisbury to Colburn, Ocean Pines and Ocean City. So this area, you are in some of that thicker fog, and the eastern shore too in the clouds. Some areas seeing fog right now. If you don't see the green, you're probably seeing drizzle and fog too. And that's the case all across the mid-Atlantic region back into DC. You can see kind of the hit and miss showers. Nothing especially heavy as we have this stalled out boundary to our south. And with high pressure to the north, we have that cool easterly flow right now. And every once in a while along this front, we'll see low pressure rippling along it, increasing those showers. And that'll be the case as we go through the day. You see how this front snakes all the way back into the Ohio Valley, and south of it, we'll be seeing building heat. Eventually, this front moves to the north as we go into Wednesday, and that will usher in very warm temperatures. But until then, that front to the south with occasional showers. We keep it cloudy and cool, and then that pattern breaks on Wednesday. Out the door around 62 to 65 degrees right now, so uniform temperatures with the clouds and fog. And we have that easterly wind a little stronger at the beaches, so it's a raw day all day at the coast. Temperatures staying in the 60s for you with hit and miss showers as we go through the middle of the morning. Here's 9 a.m. Maybe some heavier showers around Georgetown into Lewis. Otherwise, it's drizzle and light rain through the noon hour. 70 in Millsboro, 70 in Selbyville. That's it for the high. We should be in the lower 80s this time of year, mid to upper 60s at the coast. I'm guessing that the stores will be pretty busy there with the raw conditions and temperatures in the 60s. By 4:30, some lower 70s from Salisbury to Seaford. Maybe getting a break in the rain, maybe just overcast as we go through much of the night, and then mild and muggy to start your Tuesday with mid-60s. I think we'll see some breaks in the clouds on Tuesday. Still a little bit of drizzle, but I think we'll be a little milder. Mid-70s inland around the noon hour, 60s and 70s at the coast. Maybe 80 well inland as we go into tomorrow afternoon, and some breaks hopefully in the overcast as we go through the afternoon hours. It's going to be muggy the next several days and humid. In fact, almost miserable by the end of the week, and that's when we're going to bring in those really hot temperatures as a warm front lifts through on Wednesday. And then it's going to be very hot on Thursday with low 90s, and then a cold front crashing into that heat. Humidity triggers showers and storms. Some of those could be strong to severe, and then we dry it out Friday with above normal temperatures, well above normal. As we go into next week, we're going to be into the first week of summer, and we could be looking at the first heat wave of the summer as we go into next week with temperatures in the low 90s. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, far from 90 today, only 70 with showers. Tuesday 78, cloudy, some peaks of sun, and then 89. Here comes the warmth on Wednesday, showers and storms, and then Thursday 92 with showers and storms, feeling like mid to upper 90s with the humidity. 87 on Friday, a little drier as summer arrives Friday evening, and the first weekend of summer looks good. We break that streak of bad weekends finally. 88 Saturday, and then 91 on Sunday with partly cloudy skies.
All right, thank you, Bob. A major parade was held in Washington on Saturday to celebrate the U.S. Army turning 250. There were multiple events held to mark the U.S. military's strength, and Jen Sullivan shows us how the military festivities kicked off amid tense protests.
A celebration of the U.S. military. The parade kicking off in our nation's capital Saturday to mark the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. It's also President Donald Trump's 79th birthday.
America stands tall, America stands proud.
The parade was made up of several million pounds of military equipment, including tanks and Bradley and Stryker fighting vehicles. The day's events launching what will be a year full of celebrations as the United States turns 250 next summer.
The Army has forged a legacy of unmatched courage, untold sacrifice, and unequaled and undying glory.
The Capitol celebrations, though, come at a tense time for the Trump administration. Saturday's events followed days of protests in Los Angeles over recent immigration raids as the White House cracks down on illegal immigration and its use of the National Guard and U.S. Marines. Those protests spreading to other cities across the country.
The people of this country have to rise up.
Saturday marked more anti-Trump demonstrations dubbed No Kings protests,
No Kings here!
which organizers say seek to reject what they say is authoritarianism by the Trump administration.
We're suffering through a lot of threats to democracy here, and this seemed like a very powerful and important place to come to express that.
Ahead of the protests, the White House asked people to protest peacefully. More than 2,000 protests took place in all 50 states. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Come on CoastTV News today, Pony Swim preparations will tell you how organizers will prepare for the massive event that has become a staple on the peninsula. Hundreds attended Milton Pride Saturday afternoon. This year's event was named Small Town Big Heart as it took place entirely on the Milton Theater grounds. Milton Pride included performances by local musicians, drag queens, vendors, and even a photo booth from CoastTV. The Milton Theater says the annual event is about love, diversity, and acceptance. And details on the world-famous Chincoteague Pony Swim have been announced. Organizers say the South End herd is scheduled to be rounded up on July 26th, beginning at 7 a.m. The North End will be gathered on the 27th at 6 a.m. A beach walk is planned for 8 a.m. on the 28th with vet checks and buyback picks. And the Big Pony Swim across the Assateague Channel will begin on the morning of Wednesday, July 30th. July 31st is the auction with the swim back set for August 1st. And Bob, today seems like another day to plan indoor activities, but it's good to get outside a little bit. Maybe this afternoon at the beach is going to be gloomy, but if you like a gloomy beach walk, go for it.
Yeah, at least if you don't like the blazing sun, you can go for a walk on the boardwalk. And you know, you said you use SPF 50 even when it's cloudy, so make sure you have that out today. Assateague and Chincoteague. Showers, drizzle every once in a while, 60s to around 70 in Chincoteague. That's about it. Staying on the cool side with an easterly wind. Fenwick Island, you're going to see hit and miss showers, as is Ocean City, with temperatures into the upper 60s. Rip current threat is low, waves about 1 to 2 feet, so take it slow out there. And then on the bay side, today 70 with showers in Cambridge. It dries out a little bit Tuesday, warms up, and then we're close to 90 with storms Wednesday and similar conditions in Crisfield. As we flip the script, we go from dreary and cool, drizzly, to summer-like warmth as we head towards summer. I'll have much more on your work week forecast coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on CoastTV News Today, Preserve Project will tell you how Lewis officials could take action on a project at the 4th Street Preserve. And addressing algae, what updates locals in South Bethany can expect regarding canal cleanup at a meeting today. And political problems overshadow G7 meeting. We'll tell you what issues world leaders will face as the conference begins. CoastTV News Today will be right back.
Now on CoastTV News.
Deadly weekend ends with arrest. The man accused of opening fire on state leaders and their spouses has been captured after a massive manhunt. Clouds take over the skies. What kept the Ocean City Air Show from taking off? Route rerouted. Millsboro Road closes for bypass work. We'll show you the detours drivers need to know.
A cool and damp start to the week for Delmarva. Then summer heat and humidity later in the week with storms. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. It is 6:30 on this Monday morning. And I hope you're pouring yourself a large cup of warm coffee because First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trahey is going to join us. And Bob, today it is cooler out. It's a good day for hot coffee, but later in the week, you're going to want an iced coffee because it's going to be warm outside.
That's right. We have big changes as we go through the week ahead, Elisa. And this morning, I would take it slow. It probably takes a while to kind of rev up the engine because it's so dreary, as you mentioned, with that large cup of coffee. And take it slow on the roads, too. We have a lot of clouds, drizzle, a little bit of light rain showing up on radar now near Milton back through Lewis. But for the most part, it's cloudy, it's drizzly, and it is foggy, too, from Salisbury to Ocean Pines. So really take it slow on the roads. Use the low beam headlights. And for the eastern shore, similar conditions, too. You see, we don't have a lot of rain on the radar, but we also have patchy drizzle with some of that fog as it's looking very unsettled as we have a stationary front to our south, and we're seeing areas of low pressure kind of rippling along that front, keeping the clouds and the showers, and with high pressure to the north, it's a raw easterly wind that's keeping things cool and damp. 2 miles in fog in Salisbury, only a quarter mile in Ocean City, so take it slow in these areas. It's going to take a while for the fog to lift. Elsewhere, the visibility is better. 63 in Delmar and Millsboro, and Redden, 64 Bethany Beach and Rehoboth. So uniform temperatures with the clouds and fog and that raw east-northeast wind just making it feel a little more miserable. Clouds and drizzle, light rain this morning, temperatures moving very little. And as we go into the noon hour thereabouts, mid to upper 60s at the beaches, maybe touching 70 inland, but that's going to be tough with the clouds, drizzle, and light rain. Maybe a little bit of a break as we head into the afternoon and evening, but still staying pretty unsettled. Here's your drivecast. Light rain this morning with areas of fog, especially across Maryland. Take it slow. Gave it the yellow light there, and then more light rain and drizzle into this afternoon and this evening. So use extra caution on the roads with them being wet and some puddles as well.
Our top story this half hour: if you're planning a summer road trip, the conflict between Israel and Iran might affect you. According to officials, it's causing the cost of oil to skyrocket. Analysts say U.S. gas prices are likely to climb higher starting this week. Amy Kiley shows us the potential severity.
as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies. Experts say Americans could feel it at the pump. An analyst for Gas Buddy predicts prices could rise more than 30 cents a gallon by July 4th. That's due to the skyrocketing cost of oil.
Any kind of conflict going on in the Middle East, or particularly if it escalates, is going to lead to rising oil prices, which will lead to inflationary pressures in the U.S.
Some oil infrastructure appears damaged as the two sides exchange strikes. This video is from Haifa, home to Israel's largest refinery, and Iran is one of the top oil producers in the world.
They went after oil storage and oil refineries in those depots, as well as, of course, the targeting of gas facilities in Iran South.
Experts say the good news is U.S. gas prices were relatively mild before the conflict began. Rystad Energy says the oil market's reaction could be contained and temporary if Iran focuses on military targets. Experts say gas prices would rise much more if it went after the Strait of Hormuz. Goldman Sachs predicts an extended disruption there would push oil prices past $100 a barrel. That's because core OPEC countries need the waterway in order to ramp up production.
There's every single day 21 million barrels of oil that flows through the Strait of Hormuz. It's about a fifth of what the world consumes.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
And as political unrest continues across the country, the president is in Canada for the G7 summit. The gathering puts the president in the international spotlight amid tensions across the country and mounting concerns over a new round of attacks between Israel and Iran. President Trump hoping for a deal to de-escalate while promising to keep supporting Israel's defense.
Sometimes they have to fight it out, but we're going to see what happens. I think there's a good chance there'll be a deal.
Iran has threatened to strike American military targets if the U.S. continues that assistance to Israel. That as U.S. officials tell NBC News, President Trump rejected a recent proposal from Israel to assassinate Iran's supreme leader. The suspect in the Minnesota lawmaker shootings is now in custody. 57-year-old Vance Bolter was captured on Sunday night. Authorities say they located him in a field. Bolter is accused of fatally shooting State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, as well as severely injuring State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in a second shooting early Saturday morning. The capture follows a massive two-day manhunt across Minnesota by multiple law enforcement agencies. Happening today in Millsboro, a major road closure is set to begin through mid-August, weather permitting. This is related to the Millsboro Bypass project. On your screen right now is Hollyville Road between Washington Street Extension and Route 24. That closure is a part of the North Millsboro Bypass project as crews work to realign Hollyville Road to its new configuration. It will reopen when the bypass opens, and detours will be in place for drivers heading in both directions. Moving to Rehoboth Beach, lanes on Holland Glade Road between Sandalwood Drive and Hebron Road will close starting today through July 16th. Crews will be installing new curbs, sidewalks, and pedestrian connections. Happening today, communication relating to the canals in South Bethany. The canal water quality will gather today. Topics on the agenda include algae harvesting, canal cleaning, rain gardens, and new water treatment options to help improve conditions in the town's waterways. That meeting will take place this morning at 10 o'clock. Happening today in Lewis, updates relating to the 4th Street Preserve. According to the agenda for the Parks and Recreation Committee, officials will hear a presentation and could take action. Part of the preserve's presentation includes discussions about removing invasive plants that pose a danger to native plants. The meeting comes after city officials say $1 million fundraising goal to purchase the 4th Street Preserve was reached months ahead of the deadline. That committee will meet tonight at 5 o'clock. In Ocean City, everyone was set up and ready to watch aircrafts at the sky, but the fog was too low for the show, and after checking the weather from the ground and in the sky, the Ocean City Air Show broke the bad news after hours of waiting. Mother Nature had put a stop to the show. Although the weather fell short, people we talked to at the event said they still had a great time and are already planning their trip for next year's air show, and of course, they're hoping for better weather. We have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, crime prevention presentation. We'll tell you how Bethany Beach Police are helping businesses curb shoplifting ahead of the busy summer season. And Latina Business Benefits will tell you what features highlighted the empowering events geared towards Latina businesses in Sussex County over the weekend. And Laurel looks at speed. We'll tell you how officials are taking action to slow down drivers. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
It is exactly 6:40 on this dreary Monday morning. Gutter helmet cam. Well, this looks like a spider web or some kind of debris on the lens, but we're looking at dreary conditions, fog, low clouds, and light rain in 64. 2 miles of visibility and fog in Salisbury, only a quarter mile in Ocean City, so take it slow down here. Visibility is a little better elsewhere as we are seeing some showers now, some showers popping up over Milton and back through Lewis. Elsewhere it says drizzly and foggy. Salisbury to Ocean City, Cambridge, back through Gum Swamp and Agner. We are looking at the dreary conditions, hit and miss showers because we have a stationary boundary to the south and just really unsettled weather to the north of it, with temperatures in the low to mid 60s and a raw easterly wind. Not conducive for a good golf game today, but if you're diehard, you can get out there, but not so good. It's going to be wet, cloudy and cool, drizzle and light rain, and a high only around 70. And congratulations to Dottie Burke on winning a brand new umbrella. Good timing, Dottie, on that umbrella. She's from Milford, and it's sponsored by Paul Davis and CoastTV.
Happening today, officials will take a look at speeding in Laurel. These are temporary speed bumps on West 7th Street. And neighbors on Center Street, one road over, say speeders are now flying down their road. They say they're hoping town leaders can help them get speed bumps as well. And people we spoke with say it's a constant issue in the area.
I wouldn't raise kids here. And, you know, it's not fair. They can't even go out, you know, play. They have to be extra careful too. But definitely something needs to be done, and I've been here all my life, and it's gotten worse.
Laurel's police chief says they plan to start a speed traffic study in the neighborhood in the next few days. Officials will gather for an update at today's council meeting at 7 o'clock. La Plaza Delaware and the Delaware Alliance of Latino Entrepreneurs, also known as DALE, held their first Latina Business Summit in Milford, an event to honor and celebrate women in our community. Organizers say over 120 Latina women attended and enjoyed empowering panel conversations, created their vision boards, and even danced. And our very own Telemundo Delmarva and CoastTV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman was the MC. And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 6:15, Maryland Supreme Basketball League and boys basketball is on court 2. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. And on the DSN Plus app, along with that game we just mentioned, also at 6:15, Maryland Supreme Basketball League and boys basketball on court 1. Then at 7:30, East Coast Titans versus Laird Farms in baseball. And if you are having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can expect this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
It's Monday, Coast Life, and not just any Monday. Look who's back.
Hey!
It's going to be so much fun, and we're going to tell you about some of that fun that you can see today at 4 o'clock. We're joining our friends at the Parker Group for a conversation about things that you might be doing right, but also things that you might be doing wrong when it comes to selling your home.
Plus, if you're looking for a good eye roll, our joke jar comes back around. A few yuckety yucks to maybe make you chuckle.
And we're also going to be celebrating World Yoga Day with our friends at Soleil Studio. All that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you there.
Speaking of yuck, yeah, here's a tunnel and razor cam. Low clouds, some, well, drizzle. You have fog elsewhere across Delmarva. It's a damp and cool start to our week. Grab the umbrella out the door. A big warm-up midweek with afternoon showers and storms into Thursday. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is now 6:46, and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. And on this Monday morning, Bob, the sun did not want to wake up, did not want to show up to work today. The sun said, I'm having a 3-day weekend.
That's right.
Maybe the sun will come out tomorrow. I don't know about later this afternoon, though.
I don't know, Elisa. It's not looking good for the sun today, and you can see on the Laurel camera. Granted, that's up on a tower a few hundred feet. It's looking through lots of clouds and fog and drizzle. So it's part of our storyline. We're beginning the week dreary. It was a pretty unsettled weekend, so it's spilling into the new week, and it continues today into Tuesday. Cloudy and damp, waves of showers, maybe a downpour here and there, staying cool with an onshore flow. And then midweek, we flip the script. We're going to see a pattern change. A warm front moves through, and we're bringing back the 90s and the humidity. We could be seeing feels-like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s as we go later in the week. We're also going to see some thunderstorms as well. And look at this huge temperature contrast. We're only at 70 today. close to 80 Tuesday, and then we bounce it to 89 Wednesday, 92 on Thursday, a little cooler on Friday behind a cold front, but boy, it's going to be hot as we head into your Thursday. But first things first, it's cool and dreary out there right now, and a few showers, some steady showers around the Milton area right now. We can hear them on the roof of the station. Ellendale back to Lewis, some showers there. Elsewhere, it's just cloudy, some drizzle. Drizzle doesn't show up on radar, but we're seeing it across Sussex County back through Salisbury, Ocean Pines, and you're seeing some fog as well. Visibility less than 2 miles at times, and then we're looking at cloudy skies across the eastern shore as well. As we zoom out the view, you can see the showers around D.C. over the top of us, and to the south, not everybody's seeing the rain. It's not a solid shield of rain with the stationary front to the south. We're on the cool side of this with an easterly flow, and you can see low pressure rippling along this front, and that's enhancing those showers from time to time, and that's going to be the case for today as this front stretches back to the west. South of it, it's building heat, and then that heat will be building in as we go into the middle part of the week. But through Tuesday, with that front to our south, it's showery, it's cloudy, it's cool, but then we'll break that pattern Wednesday as this front returns to the north as a warm front. Out the door, temperatures in the low to mid 60s right now with an easterly wind a little stronger at the coast. So let's walk you through it on Futurecast. We're in the 60s this morning with the clouds, drizzle, and at times periods of heavier rain. And by noon, 60s to around 70 degrees with the rain and an east-northeast breeze just making it feel really raw at the beaches today with highs only in the 60s for you. Lower 70s inland, maybe getting a break from the steady rain as we go into the afternoon and the evening, but mainly cloudy through the overnight into tomorrow morning. And tomorrow we'll see a few more breaks in the clouds and temperatures warm up into the mid to upper 70s inland by noon, and then 60s and 70s at the beaches, around 80 in Salisbury and Seaford. So things do warm up a little bit with a little more sunshine into your Tuesday, but we remain quite muggy to humid. In fact, very humid to miserable by the end of the week, and that's when the heat arrives. As we go into Wednesday, it really warms up, and then as we go into Wednesday evening, some showers and storms possible. Thursday is the hot day, and then we see a strong cold front coming through, maybe severe weather into Thursday. We'll have to watch for that. Above normal temperatures as we go into next week, as we could be looking at the first heat wave of the summer season into early next week. Paul Day of a 7-day forecast. 70 today with the rain, 78 Tuesday, 89, some storms Wednesday, then Thursday 92, maybe strong to severe storms. Summer arrives later Friday, 87, and then the first weekend of summer might actually be nice. 88 Saturday, 91, partly cloudy skies on Sunday.
Thank you, Bob. New this morning, Bethany Beach police are reaching out to local businesses as they say shoplifting cases start to rise during the summer season. Today, the agency will lead a shoplifting prevention seminar. Officers say the seminar will cover tips for employees to spot theft and what happens after an arrest is made. The event takes place at 9 o'clock this morning at the Bethany Beach Town Hall. Bayhealth is now just one of a few hospitals in the country using a system to support life-saving donations. The hospital system is teaming up with the Gift of Life donor program to enhance the organ and tissue donation process. Officials say data from Bayhealth's electronic health record system will flow into Gift of Life's donor record system through a new innovative app. This connection ensures accurate information and gives caretakers more time to focus on patients and their families. Bayhealth is just the third hospital in the nation and the first in Delaware to have this technology. Happening today, Milford School Board officials will discuss budget and policy updates. This is at the Board of Education meeting, and according to the agenda, officials are expected to discuss an early budget for fiscal year 2026 and possible policy updates. The agenda also includes student and staff recognitions and updates in school climate and culture. That meeting will take place this evening at 6 o'clock at Milford Central Academy. Also happening today, the Seaford School Board meets with a packed agenda, including several policy updates and faculty plans. Among the key item actions on the agenda is the approval of student field trips, a proposed update to the district's tax rate and salary schedules for fiscal year 2026. Board members will also review renovation projects at the district office and Seaford Middle School. Today's meeting will take place this evening at 6 o'clock at the district office. And the time is now 6:51, so we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pets of the day are taking some time to get some rest after a fun-filled day together. On your screen right now are BFFs Cooper and Cookie. As you can see, these two are pooped after an exciting play date, and Cooper and Cookie were submitted to us by Donna in Longneck. And we want to see more of your pets and their pet friends on Delmarva. You can send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. Take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen, and submit your furry friends to CoastTV News. Then, of course, watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. The time is now 6:55, and here are the things you need to know before you go. Happening today in Millsboro, a major road closure is set to begin through mid-August, weather permitting. This is related to the Millsboro Bypass project. On your screen right now is Hollyville Road between Washington Street Extension and Route 24. The closure is a part of the North Millsboro Bypass project as crews work to realign Hollyville Road to its new configuration. It will reopen when the bypass opens, and detours are in place for drivers heading in both directions. Happening today in Lewis, updates relating to the 4th Street Preserve. According to the agenda for the Parks and Recreation Committee, officials will hear a presentation and could take action. Part of the preserve's presentation includes discussion about removing invasive plants that pose a danger to native plants. The meeting comes after the city officials say an $8 million fundraising goal to purchase 4th Street Preserve was reached 3 months ahead of deadline. The committee will meet this evening at 5 o'clock. And the time is now 6:56, so we're going to take another look at your Monday forecast before you head out the door. Bob, today's a good day for a jacket. Then later this week, temperatures going to change.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to adjust that wardrobe as we go through the week. Elisa, you know, you need the umbrella today, the cooler weather gear, and then we go into the middle of the week, and then the heat will be building in. But I'm worried about the fog this morning. It's spreading into southern Sussex County, 1.25 miles now in Georgetown, 2.5 in Salisbury, and only 1/4 mile, some dense fog around Ocean City. So really take it slow in these areas. Elsewhere, visibility is better, and we are seeing areas of drizzle and light rain, and that will continue as we go really through much of the day. Temperatures slowly rising through the 60s, and I think by this afternoon we should see just cloudy skies and temperatures nearing 70 degrees, but cooler 60s at the coast as it's pretty unsettled. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Today's the coolest day of the next several with 70 and rain. 78 Tuesday, I think we'll see some peaks of sun, and then Wednesday a warm front comes through, and look at these temperatures skyrocket to 89 with showers and storms. And on Juneteenth Thursday, it's going to be a hot one, 92, feeling hotter with the humidity, maybe severe weather with storms later on in the day. And then 87 Friday as summer arrives Friday evening. And Elise, I'm crossing my fingers for the first weekend of summer being nice. Upper 80s Saturday, 91 Sunday, and maybe our first heat wave of the summer into early next week with low to mid 90s.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for CoastTV News today. The Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m. Then we'll be back for CoastTV Midday at 11. And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our CoastTV News and weather apps. Have a great morning.